My huge respect to all participants virtually joining us here today. To one and all, good day. I am Eliza Jayne Diamante from the Tagum College. On behalf of my co-authors Chundie, Shyn, Alonzo, Karyn, Chrislene, Vitor, and Jemer Alimbon, I present to you our study titled Freshwater Fishes in the River of Maduao, Maco, Davao de Oro. For the presentation flow, I will present first the introduction, then methods, results and discussion, and finally, conclusions and recommendations. Even if they only cover less than 1% of the Earth's surface, freshwater ecosystems are fundamental to human life and well-being as they provide various natural services and support vast biodiversity. Unfortunately, the number of freshwater species around the globe has declined by 83% since 1970. A significant loss of freshwater fish diversity observed in the past decades could be attributed to the combined effects of several factors, such as climate change, acidification, eutrophication, and the introduction of invasive species. Worldwide, at least 13,000 freshwater fish species belonging to 2,513 genera of some 170 families were documented. But a more recent data estimated that there are 18,075 freshwater fish species, and of these, 359 are listed and found in the Philippines. In the Philippines, several ichthyofaunal studies were already conducted. For example, in the Luzon Island, specifically in the province of Batangas, Laguna, Camarines Sur, and Quezon, freshwater systems were inventoried for fish composition and diversity. In the Visayas, rivers in Antique and Iloilo were also explored. In Mindanao, there have also been several studies conducted. These are in the provinces of Bukidnon, Surigao del Sur, Davao Oriental, North Cotabato, Zamboanga del Sur, Misamis Occidental, and Lanao del Norte. Among them, the study of Kimpang 2015 in Davao Oriental documented significant number of fish individuals with a total of 838, representing 34 species, one of which is endemic, 10 were native, 15 are introduced, while 7 species were unclassified. Literature shows that even though assessment of freshwater ichthyofaunal diversity was conducted in a few areas in Mindanao, specifically in Davao region, no report on freshwater ichthyofaunal composition and diversity in Maco, Davao de Oro has been published yet. Hence, this study conducted a rapid assessment of freshwater fishes in the river of Maduao, Davao de Oro, Philippines. Specifically, it sought to identify collected fishes up to the lowest possible taxon, determine the relative abundance of identified species, and determine freshwater fish species diversity and evenness. Fieldwork was done in the river of Maduao, Maco, Davao de Oro, Philippines last August 2022. 3 river sections were established: the upstream that is favorable to sunlight with dense riparian vegetation, the midstream with a laminar flow of the water and a coarse sand and pebbles in the riverbed, and the downstream that is used for domestic functions such as bathing and washing clothes. Survey was done for 4 days per Corpus et al. 2016 between 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. following the methods of Labatos and Briones 2014. Materials used were electrofishing apparatus, seine net, and hand net. However, prior to the conduct of the study, necessary approvals and permits were sought. These include endorsement from the Research and Publication Center of Tagum College, clearances from the Barangay Concepcion and the Municipality of Maco, Davao de Oro, and a gratuitous permit from the Department of Agriculture, Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, Region 11. Species identification was done using Field Guides by Cotella 2013 and Rainbow 1996, and online databases such as FishBase, Global Biodiversity Information Facility, and Fish Asia. The IUCN Red List to identify the conservation status of the identified species. Relevant publications were also used, such as the works of Uhao, Gapar, Gimpang, and their respective colleagues. Data obtained were analyzed using paleontological statistics software. For the results, 13 species representing 8 families were found in the river of Maduao, Maco, Davao de Oro, Philippines. These species were Anguilla marmorata, locally known as Kasili from the family Anguillidae, Channa striata, locally known as Halwan from the family Chanidae, Clarias batrachus, locally known as Pantat from the family Claridae, Barbodes binutatus, locally known as Paitan from the family Cyprinidae. 3 species from the family Eleutheridae were also documented, 2 of which are initially identified as the 3 species from the family Eleutheridae were also documented, 2 of which are initially identified as species of the genus Eleutris, while 1 of the genus Gyris. All 3 are locally known as bibangon. 2 suspected awao species from the family Gobidae were also found, and both are locally known as burod. Note that all initially Eleutris, Gyris, and awao species will be subjected to further identification. We have also found Sisyopterus longiphilis and Sisyopterus macrostepilepsis of the family Gobidae, both locally known as hipon. Collected also were samples of Trichopodus trichopterus, locally known as gurami, from the family Ospronimidae, and Rheacistis aspro, which is locally known as darupingan, from the family Rheasictidae. Among the 8 families, the most represented is Gobidae with 4 species, followed by Eleutheridae with 3 species, and the rest are represented by singular species only. Further, per IUCN, most of the species except those to be verified further were of least concern status. Among all the species caught, the native Barbodes binutatus of family Cyprinidae is the most abundant species, with a total number of 429 individuals. The dominance of native species in said area indicates that the river of Maduao, Maco, Davao de Oro is a healthy riverine ecosystem. The fishes in the river of Maduao, Maco, Davao de Oro, Philippines had low Shannon winner diversity ranging from 0.5764 to 1.027 with an overall 0.7517, which means that the diversity is very low. The Pialos evenness ranges from 0.1977 to 0.4654 with an overall 0.1631, which means that the distribution of fish in the area is not evenly distributed because of the dominance of Barbodes binutatus. Overall, the river in Maduao, Maco, Davao de Oro, Philippines hosts at least 13 freshwater fishes, has low fish species diversity, and is dominated by B. binutatus. With this, the researchers recommend to conserve and protect the fish in the area, to do extensive surveys, specifically more sampling time and more area coverage, like establishing sampling stations downstream. We also recommend that physicochemical profiling of the river be conducted and relate the findings to current species distribution. And these are our references. Thank you so much for listening.